up the topic of goal setting today. That's what I really want to focus on. I tell people all the time, you need to set your goals, you need to manifest. But how can you manifest without your goals? You can't. You don't know what you're manifesting if you don't have a goal to manifest. So I've been listening to a lot of motivational speakers over the last few days, really just trying to get my head in the right space as well. And one of my favorites is Jack Canfield, the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And I've been listening to his principles to success. And it made me also see a lot of things that if I go all the way back to when I was like 14 years old, I went to a Christian school. I went to Landmark Christian School in Indiana. And when I went there, the one thing that we were required every week was to go to positive mental attitude class. And our principal, Mr. Kelsey, taught this class. And one day, he brought in a guest speaker. And we're all like, yeah, okay, so who's this little guy with a handlebar mustache and wearing glasses and dressed kind of funny? You know, it was the 70s after all. We were all dressed kind of funny. But I remember seeing this man, and the one thing that Mr. Kelsey always taught us was that every morning you wake up and you say, I feel healthy, happy, and terrific. And basically, I try that. When I'm not feeling real good, I will wake up and I will look in the bathroom mirror and I'll go, look, Willow, you feel healthy, happy, and terrific. And you know that's going to make you feel better, right? And I'll say it until I do feel better. And it's funny, but if I woke up with a headache and I started saying it, the headache goes away. And it's really about the perspective we have on our days. So that is the first step. We've got to be positive. Well, one of the things that he did was bring in this guest speaker who happened to be his mentor, somebody he idolized and looked up to for positive attitude and success. And this man was W. Clement Stone. And I never realized it until the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because Jack Canfield was saying how that was his mentor, that's who taught him. And I'm like, I actually sat in a lecture and listened to W. Clement Stone when I was 14 years old. I've had this positive stuff pushed into my head for how many years? You know, that it's a long time. Over 40 years of trying to be positive. I've had my ups and I've had my downs. And of course, you know, we go through that. But it's important that we do set our goals. So the one way that Jack Canfield suggests we do it is to make a list of 101 things we want to accomplish before we die. For some of us, we don't have as many years as somebody who's 25. But we should write down 101 things that we'd like to accomplish before we die and see how many of those things we can actually achieve. We never know when we're going to check out, but you know what? It gives us something to focus on. And that's where we need to start. Now, you can have little goals. It doesn't have to be big goals. Sorry about that, guys. We have a cat under here knocking my camera around. But we don't have to make them huge. They could be small things. Maybe you want to go to a restaurant you've never tried before. That could be one of your goals, and you could try a special dish that you never thought you'd taste before, but it's something, right? So that's one thing you could do. But you might put on there, I want to skydive, or I want to climb a mountain, or I want to go to some exotic place. But it's okay. You should make a list of 101 things that you would like to achieve before you die. So that's one thing you can do. Now, the other thing you do is yearly goals. Now, yearly goals makes it a little bit easier to attain. So you don't want to be overachieving in your thoughts. You want to actually be realistic. So the way he's telling us is you should divide your goals up into 6 areas of your life, okay? First, your financial goals for the year, all right? So since many of you may be pagan and following the wheel of the year, So at Samhain, that is the beginning of our year, the ending, our new year, going into the new year. So we might be looking at what the next year's goals are already. But the first one you would write down would be financial. Now you can choose areas in your life for yourself. You don't have to follow this exactly, but these are examples. So you might write down financial goals. So you don't want to be unrealistic, okay? If you have to be in the position right now, and there's nothing wrong with this, if you're in a position because of falling on hard times, you might be couch surfing on friends' couches. You're not going to say, I want to make $3 million this year, unless there's some way you know for a fact you can do that. You want to be realistic. So maybe your financial goals is to make a certain dollar amount, a figure every month, so you can move out on your own and have your own space and pay your own bills. That could be your financial goal. So you can look at your dollar figure about how much you need. For the next one would be your career area. Now, that could mean you want the promotion, or you want to become the supervisor of your department, or maybe you want to start your own business. See, these are the things that we need to look at. So for me, I'm doing multiple things. I have multiple businesses. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you is abundance comes from multiple sources of income. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket. If you think you can work for one employer for your entire life, that is a very rare thing to be able to find your success in. Some can, but the days of the 1950s and 60s when people could work for the same company for 50 years is pretty much a thing of the past. That was our parents. That was my parents' generation. And my dad, he worked at one company before he died for 23 years. He died at 43. He had been there half his life, a little more than half. So when we look at this, we can't do that thing that our parents used to do. So we have to look at this in different ways, okay? Adjust this a little bit. So the one thing that you can do is start to look at your career goals. So for me, yes, I have multiple businesses. That's how I make my living. I am a professional psychic medium. I do weddings. I'm an ordained minister, so I do legal weddings, and I get paid for that. I also take people on paranormal investigations, and I get paid to do that, to show them how to be a paranormal investigator. I do seances. So I do multiple things, and I do healing work. So I've got my spiritual business, my wedding business, and my paranormal business, okay? Sometimes they kind of cross over each other, but I have those three specific ones. The next thing that I've started doing is the YouTube channels. So I have this channel, and I've just started one that I'm really passionate about called Willow's Witchy World. And that's the one thing that I was kind of missing, that I didn't realize that if you really want to be successful in YouTube, you've got to be passionate about your topic. And I am passionate about spiritual things. Don't get me wrong. I really am. But when you do a job every single day, which I do, I help people every single day. That's my job. I listen to their problems. I help guide them and spiritually guide them. And I channel spirits, and I channel my guides and their guides. And it's a lot of work. I am passionate about it, and I love doing it. But I need a change once in a while. I need a break from that so that I can do something else. And I've been thinking about this idea of going out and just on different adventures and interviewing local people and tourists, and doing this kind of channel where I'm just out in New Orleans seeing what's going on, and showing the world that. And so finally, I realized that I also have to do that. I can't just do this channel. I need both. So this is a career thing for me. It's like my goal is that this year I reach, within the next 12 months, because I've started very late in the year, in the next 12 months, I would like to reach 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. It's not a whole lot. It really isn't. I'm trying to study what other YouTubers do. So that's part of my career goal, to study and learn so that I can be successful doing all of these things that I do. So you can do your own thing. So you can be as successful in your area of expertise, or maybe you want to learn something brand new and start a different career. That's great, but it's your career goal. Now, the next thing you want to look at maybe are relationship goals. So you might want to make amends with someone this next 12 months that you've had a falling out with. Maybe you just want to have a better communication relationship with your spouse or your partner. There are many types of things that you could do for your relationship goals, but that's individual, okay? The next one, and I think this is important because a lot of us look at our lives and just go work, 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 responsibility, work. But you need a fun and recreation goal too. What do you want to do? Maybe you want to do this once a week, or maybe just once every 2 weeks, once a month. You want to do something that you love. Maybe there's a hobby. Maybe you golf, but you don't have time to do it all the time. Maybe you can set the goal that one day a month you are going to do this. No matter what, you're going to go and do whatever this thing is that you love to do. It can be anything. What do you do for fun and recreation? Somebody may go out and play and sing karaoke, and another person may go out and play softball. It doesn't matter what you do, but fun and recreation needs to be put in as a goal, because if it's not, it gets left out. Okay. And the next one is health and fitness. So I know my health and fitness goal for me is to lose my last 25 pounds. That's very important. I've lost 20 this year, but I want to lose 25 more. And I feel like I'm at a standstill. We reach those plateaus. It's not always easy. Losing weight, especially when you're older. It's harder for us. The older you get, the harder it is, they say, to lose weight. And I'm finding that out. But that's part of my health goal, as well as getting my cholesterol levels down and my blood pressure down, the health stuff. I'm trying to do this all with no medications. I'm doing it strictly through diet. So that's, something you want to look at as your health and fitness goals. Now, the other one is just a personal goal. And I really, I had to think about this the way he was describing it. He said, it's a goal where you do something just because you want to do it. It can be anything. I haven't figured out what that goal is for me yet, but to do something just because I want to. And I can do that. I just have to figure out what my goal is, and maybe you can figure out what your goal is. So if you write these down, write the 6 areas and then write your yearly goal for each one. It is important that you also share it with one person, at least one person. And the reason that you share it, it's accountability. You don't want to fail. You want to prove that you can do this. And periodically, throughout the year, stop and assess where you're at on each one of your goals. Sometimes you may get a little off track, but he described it like flying an airplane. They go up and down, and they have to kind of always maneuver to get back on track because wind blows and things like that. And that's kind of like life. It blows us around a little bit. So sometimes we have to get back on track. But if we don't know where we're at, we don't assess it, we won't know where we're at, so we can't get back on track. But those are important things. So when we write down a goal, how do we achieve it? Well, the first thing is, don't worry about the goal. Write it down. Know that this is what you want to do. Whoop, and there goes Yoshi. But you write the goal down, and that way you know what you're doing. Okay, that's your focus. And to manifest, you have to have a focus. And so let's just say your financial goal. you want to make this much money, but you have no clue. You don't even have a job yet. But you tell the universe, this is how much money I'm going to make. Not I want to make, but this is how much money I'm going to make this year. I'm making this amount. When we put it in those terms in a positive way, we can achieve it easier. Because the universe goes, they need to make this kind of money. All right, that's what their goal is. That's what they want. So we better find them a job or start a business or whatever it might be. But you got to start somewhere. So for me, maybe I want, I don't know, let's say I want to make $60,000 this year, and that's really not that much. When you think about it, it's $5,000 a month. And I used to do that selling cars. And I don't sell cars anymore because it really pulled my energy down. But when we look at the different things that we could do to make that amount of money, it does for some of us, it takes multiple sources of income. That's okay. So how can I raise my income? Well, I probably will need to market or advertise, need to reach out, need to maybe hit the pavement and go out to hotels and places and pass out my cards. These are things that I may need to do. Advertising doesn't have to cost a lot of money as long as it's word of mouth or you just get out there and start to promote yourself in some way. But you have to start somewhere, and that's when we write our goals. So, and the other thing that he had mentioned on his videos was that if you can't come up with a lot of goals, especially the 101, that's a lot of goals. Meditate. And I know you're going to sit there and say, I don't know how to meditate. I can't quiet my mind well enough to meditate. And a lot of people can't. But you know where I find some of my best ideas? In the shower and in the bathtub. Water. Water helps me connect with my higher self. It helps me get ideas. Try the bath. Try sitting in a hot tub or a pool or taking a shower for a while, just letting the water run on your body. It's amazing. It's a great tool to use. It's very spiritual too. So that's a way that if you aren't good at meditating, you might still get some ideas. But you don't have to write them all down in one day. You can think about it. Maybe as you go through one of your days, you'll go, ooh, I'd like to do that. Let's write that down. And you keep notes. You're creating 101 things to put on your bucket list. Yeah, they're goals. But think of the adventures. Think of the things that you're going to experience if you have them. Now you can write big goals too. I'm not telling you can't write a big goal because, you know, I would love to make $1 million in 1 year. That would be a great goal because I'd be able to help people. That's the way it works. Why do you want to do it as well? You know, it's like you can set a goal, but why? Why do you want to do it? You know, it's like career goals especially. Why do you want to do it? Is it going to make you feel good? Is it going to fulfill you? Is it what you're passionate about? And that's kind of important because a lot of people fall into the way of thinking that my parents think I should do this. When I graduate high school, I should go to college to do this. And then they get to college and they hate it. But they don't want to make their parents not be proud of them. So they fall through this, well, I'm going to do it anyway because it will make me good money. Even though maybe I don't want to be a doctor anymore. But I'm going to do it. Just because it'll make me money. And it'll make my parents proud. But your parents would be proud if you were successful doing what you loved. That's what's important. You've got to follow your heart and you've got to follow your passion. That's what goals are about. Following our heart and our passion. So that's the kind of goals you want to write. So for me, yeah, multiple sources of income. Do I enjoy some of, excuse me, my throat's giving out on me. Do I enjoy certain parts of my businesses more than others? Yes. I'm not going to tell you I don't. I love reading for people, and I love life coaching. And I love doing healing work. I do weddings, and I like them. I don't do many. I don't know if I would do that as a full-time career. But I do love the spiritual aspect of it. I like it when I can do fun weddings where I can go in character. Those are fun, especially around Halloween. But that's something that I do. But it's not my number one passion. My number one passion is just helping people. And that's where I like to focus. So I would like to do more private readings, have private clients. I think that's something that I've always loved doing. People have always come to me asking for advice. And so that helps, by being able to read for them, I can give them my experiences, give them some of my advice, but also that from my guides and theirs. So that's just what I want you to think about today. What kind of goals do you want to write down? 101? You want to write down just 6 for the year? But whatever you do, you have to stay positive and make sure that you find that they're realistic and that you enjoy what you are doing. You must be passionate about what you do in your life to find complete success. And don't forget, success and abundance comes from multiple sources of income as well. So you've got some things to think about. And then we can get into manifesting really more in depth. But for right now, let's just work on setting the goals, writing them down. Take that first step. And then let somebody know what your goals are. And maybe they want to join in and make their own list. But that's what I wanted to touch base with you today, guys, about. And don't forget to follow my other YouTube channel, Willow's Witchy World. I did another video today. I've done 2 adventures now. One at the Goat, the Dark Art Market, last week on Wednesday. And today I did one backyard adventure here in my home. Showing you my garden and showing you how to plant some seeds and some fun stuff. But I'm trying to do a lot of different things, and it helps me have fun. It helps me find my passion, because I am passionate about gardening. I love gardening. And I love helping people, and I love meeting people, and I want to help other people with their businesses and promoting them through videos as well. So check out that YouTube channel, Willow's Witchy World. Also, if you would like a personal reading, check out my website, willowmechant.com. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. All the links I'm going to link down below in the video. And I'll put the Willow's Witchy World down there too, so you'll remember what it's called. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channels. And don't forget to hit the like button as well and share it with your friends. Help me reach my goals. And then I can help you reach yours. And until next time, be blessed.